My name is Richard Newman, and I work for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and I'm a trial attorney. So I guess I'm going to answer some questions regarding how we use technology in Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
So what type of technology do you use?
Well, we use all kinds of technology. Immigration and Customs Enforcement uses a lot of different databases. Number one, we encounter human beings, and so usually, most all human beings have fingerprints, and so those fingerprints are run through a database to see if we've encountered them before, or if they've been entered by some other entity into a database.
So what kind of technology do you use to identify criminals and track their records?
Well, that would be like the database. We have various databases. There's a national criminal database called NCIC that most all law enforcement agencies enter information into. Most American law enforcement agencies enter into NCIC. NCIC will have usually like an FBI number, the person's name and date of birth, and any derogatory information. They'll also have their eye color and all that sort of thing, but any derogatory information such as convictions, there will frequently be their arrest record on there as well. So that's one of the many databases that we use to verify that if we've ever encountered that person, or if a law enforcement agency has ever encountered that person before.
Now, if that person committed a crime somewhere else outside the U.S., how do you get that information?
Yeah, that's one of the tricky things. There's an international policing organization that they smush the words together, and most people call it Interpol. Interpol is is also kind of a repository of information of that nature. Another country would have to first enter the information into the system. A lot of countries don't. Most countries probably don't. And the countries that do will probably only enter the information if it's a very important criminal or a very important crime.
What's the difference in technology that you used when you first started and now?
When I first started, we used fairly similar, pretty much the same technology. Although I probably look a lot older than I am. I've only been involved in law enforcement for maybe 7 or 8 years, and so in 7 or 8 years, the technology hasn't been that drastically different. We still use databases and cross-reference with other law enforcement agencies, and these databases have largely remained the same. The only thing that's changed is they've integrated a little better. When an undocumented alien finishes serving a sentence, in most cases, certainly in the federal, in the Bureau of Prisons, they are then processed for their immigration issues. And 9 times out of 10, an undocumented alien has not resolved their immigration status while they're in jail, and so they're then removed from the country, usually after they're serving their sentence. That happens a lot, actually, that we encounter people that have entered the country more than once illegally or without documentation. And so our database would reflect that. We would use their name and date of birth, except our database, we can also run their biometrics, which is their fingerprints. Although biometrics could mean a lot of things, it could also mean blood work, but I think usually it's just the fingerprints. So they run these fingerprints and the name, because sometimes people use different names. So they'll run both, and we'll get their record, and we'll see that we've encountered them, or Border Patrol has encountered them more than once, and what's happened. This will all be on our database. We'll have a very nice summary of everything that they've done. Sometimes people, they come legally a number of times through the port of entry, one of the port of entries. They come through. They can come through many times legally, and then maybe one time they come without going through the port of entry. Maybe they cross the river or what have you. And we can pull all of the times that they've entered legally as well. Every time that they've crossed through the port of entry, it'll say when and what time of day and how they crossed. If it's with if they walked or if they went by a car.